We often hear a lot about IQ, right? About how sharp someone is with facts, figures, um, logical puzzles. It's the kind of intelligence we've, well, traditionally measured and celebrated. But what if there's another, equally profound and maybe even more crucial form of intelligence? One that shapes our lives, especially for young people trying to navigate this increasingly complex world. It's the capacity to understand ourselves, connect with others, manage life's inevitable curveballs, and really build a path to thriving.
That's precisely the focus of this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've taken your comprehensive sources on emotional intelligence, or EI, as it's often called, and we're looking at its pivotal role in the lives of adolescents and college students, and even its impact on the broader education system itself. Our mission today is to distill the most important insights, helping you understand why nurturing emotional intelligence is proving to be as vital, maybe even more so, than pure cognitive intellect for success and overall well-being.
Okay, let's unpack this concept then. Emotional intelligence. It's a term that's certainly out there in the popular lexicon, but what does it really mean? When we talk about EI, what exactly are we referring to? Your sources, particularly from organizations like NMMI Mercer and the KAI Global School, seem to lay out a pretty consistent definition.
Yeah, they do. At its core, emotional intelligence is the capacity to identify, understand, manage, and effectively use your own emotions.
Yeah.
And just as importantly, to understand and influence the feelings of those around you. It's not just one single ability, but rather a robust set of interconnected skills, often summarized by Daniel Goleman's influential framework, which, yeah, your sources definitely highlight. There are 5 key components.
5 key components. Okay, let's dive into those. What's the first one?
First up, we have self-awareness. This is really the foundation. It's the ability to recognize your own emotions as they happen, understanding their specific effects on your thoughts, your behavior. It means being tuned into your inner landscape, knowing your strengths, weaknesses, values, goals. For a student, this might look like recognizing, okay, I'm feeling frustrated because I can't get this math problem, instead of just feeling generally bad or stupid.
Ah, okay. So it's about getting really specific with what you're feeling, not just some vague sense of happy or sad. That sounds like it could really help you pinpoint the root of an issue, maybe.
Absolutely. Precision helps. And from self-awareness, we naturally move to self-regulation. This is the skill of managing or redirecting those disruptive emotions and impulses. It involves adapting to changing circumstances, knowing when to pause between feeling an emotion and reacting to it, and making healthier choices, which is especially crucial when coping with stress or conflict. Think of a student who gets back a disappointing test score. Self-regulation is the difference between, say, lashing out or getting really down, versus taking a deep breath, thinking, okay, what can I do differently next time?
That sounds incredibly useful for anyone, really, but especially young people navigating all those high-pressure situations, academics, social stuff.
It truly is. The third component is motivation. This refers to using your emotions to help achieve personal and academic goals. It's that internal drive that influences how you regulate emotions, navigate social interactions, and, crucially, persist when things get tough, especially as academic, social, and personal responsibilities pile up. It's the resilience to keep going even when faced with setbacks, fueled by an understanding of your own goals and aspirations.
So it's not just about having emotions, but consciously harnessing them almost, like using them as fuel for purpose and persistence. That's a powerful idea.
Exactly. It's channeling them constructively.
Yeah.
Next, we come to empathy. This is the capacity to understand and share the feelings of others. The classic walk in someone's shoes. It means really grasping their moods and spirits, not just from what they say, but from subtle cues, tone of voice, facial expressions, body language. It's about genuine connection and recognizing that others have an inner world just as rich and complex as your own.
Right. That moves us beyond just observing someone's reaction to actually connecting with their underlying experience, deeper level.
Precisely. And finally, number 5 is social skills, sometimes called relationship management. This component kind of brings all the others together. It involves developing those interpersonal abilities to build healthy, productive relationships. It means being approachable, easy to talk to, handling conflicts effectively, and positively influencing others' emotions. For students, this is obviously vital in forming friendships, working in groups, even navigating tricky situations with teachers or coaches. So yeah, when we talk about emotional intelligence, you can hear it's a really comprehensive set of human skills, because way beyond what a traditional IQ test measures.
It really does sound like a kind of comprehensive human operating system, much more than just academic smarts. And here's where it gets really compelling, I think. Your sources consistently make this powerful case for why EI isn't just like a beneficial trait, but an absolute necessity for students, impacting everything from grades to mental health, from teenage years right through college and into their careers.
Absolutely. The research paints a very, very compelling picture. For one thing, EI significantly leads to enhanced academic performance. There was an extensive review synthesizing studies from 2015 to 2024. It found that students with higher EI levels consistently show better academic outcomes, stronger engagement in school, and greater resilience.
Now, that's interesting in itself, but what really jumped out at me was the claim, I think it was from KAI Global School, that emotional intelligence can independently predict a student's GPA, often outperforming traditional predictors like IQ. That's a huge claim, isn't it? That EI could be a better predictor of grades than IQ? How does that even work? Like, what are the mechanisms there that IQ alone might miss?
Yeah, that finding really does challenge a lot of conventional thinking about academic success. It's quite striking. It suggests that while cognitive ability helps you grasp information, maybe understand the concepts, emotional intelligence helps you apply that knowledge effectively and crucially sustainably. Think about it. An emotionally intelligent student is likely better equipped to manage study-related stress, right? To persist through challenging assignments instead of just giving up, to regulate their focus and avoid distractions, and to collaborate effectively on group projects, which are big parts of school now. All those factors significantly contribute to a higher GPA, but they aren't directly measured by a standard IQ test. It's perhaps the difference between knowing what to do and having the emotional resilience and social know-how to actually do it consistently and well.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about the whole picture, the holistic approach to learning and solving problems, not just raw processing power. And beyond academics, your sources really emphasize EI's critical role in mental health.
Oh, absolutely. It's crucial for mental health and resilience. One study highlighted the, frankly, high rates of mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and stress among college students. It's a real concern. But crucially, higher emotional intelligence was strongly associated with greater psychological well-being. Emotionally intelligent students are simply better equipped to manage stress. They tend to understand their emotional triggers better. They can self-regulate negative impulses more effectively, and they're generally more resilient in those high-pressure academic environments, which, significantly reduces the risk of burnout. NAMI Mercer also underscores EI's protective role, helping adolescents navigate that often murky period of development more effectively. It gives them internal tools to cope, rather than just feeling overwhelmed by it all.
So it's not just about surviving those challenging years, but actually having the internal framework to proactively manage your emotions and, well, thrive emotionally. That's a significant difference.
It is a very significant difference. And then there's the social piece, building strong social relationships and belonging. EI is fundamental for navigating those complex social dynamics we all face. The study on college students specifically found that higher EI leads to greater satisfaction with social relationships, more social acceptance, and fewer experiences of rejection.
Okay, and this brings us to something I found particularly fascinating and really important. The distinction your sources made, finding that rejection was a significantly stronger predictor of poor mental health outcomes than simply a lack of inclusion. That feels like a really critical distinction. What does this mean for how we should approach fostering positive social environments? In schools or anywhere, really. It sounds like it's not just about inviting people in, but actively preventing them from feeling pushed away, devalued.
You've absolutely hit on a critical nuance there. It has profound implications. It tells us that while inclusion efforts making sure everyone can join are valuable, absolutely, we also need to explicitly focus on preventing and mitigating experiences of rejection, that feeling of being actively pushed out or devalued. For schools, this means not only creating opportunities for connection, but also having really robust anti-bullying policies. It means teaching empathy explicitly to help students understand the impact their actions have on others, and fostering a culture where differences aren't just, tolerated, but are genuinely appreciated and seen as a strength. As NAMI Mercer notes, developing EI helps adolescents navigate these dynamics with greater empathy, fostering those positive, supportive relationships that act as a buffer against feeling rejected.
So it's truly about creating spaces where young people feel genuinely connected, safe, and equipped with the internal tools to handle life's inevitable social ups and downs without being totally overwhelmed. It sounds like this isn't just a nice-to-have skill set, but really a fundamental building block for well-being. So if emotional intelligence is so vital for developing young people, What does this mean for the people guiding them, for teachers, for parents? How can we actively, foster these skills?
Right, this is where the practical application becomes essential, and your sources offer some excellent actionable insights here. Let's start with the student perspective on teachers. There was a fascinating study. It surveyed Nepalese college students, asking them what makes a best teacher. And the results were, well, quite revealing. The students' absolute highest priority, that their teacher made them feel emotionally safe in the classroom.
Emotionally safe. Wow, that's a powerful statement. Not just physically safe, but that psychological security in the learning space. Why do you think that ranked above other qualities we might assume are key?
Well, I think it speaks to that fundamental human need for belonging and trust. And that's amplified in the learning context, right? If a student doesn't feel safe to ask questions or to make mistakes, or even just express their ideas without fear of ridicule or judgment, then true learning can't really flourish. And here's the really surprising part. Prioritizing a teacher's deep knowledge of the subject actually received the lowest average score among the traits of their best teacher. Instead, students overwhelmingly valued how the material was delivered and other interpersonal skills. They strongly desired teachers who were empathetic, who demonstrated strong self-management themselves, like not shouting when they got angry.
That really flips the script on what we often assume makes a great educator. It's less about being the walking encyclopedia, maybe, and more about the human connection,
Yeah.
the ability to create that trusting environment. So content knowledge is obviously important, but how it's delivered and the emotional climate a teacher creates. That seems paramount to the student experience and, ultimately, their learning.
Exactly. Is how that knowledge is facilitated through relationship and emotional attunement. It's key. Now, shifting to parents as primary guides. One article strongly emphasizes that parents are basically the primary school for emotional erudition. Love that phrase. It underlines the crucial role of parental support, shown through compassion, non-judgmental acceptance, and really listening responsively. And the article outlines 4 really concrete ways parents can build EI in their children. Super practical stuff.
Okay, lay them out for us. These sound like actionable takeaways people can use.
Okay, first, help children recognize and accurately term or label their own emotions, whether it's frustration, joy, disappointment, whatever. This could involve asking them to describe it, maybe draw it, or write about what they feel. So instead of maybe saying, oh, stop crying, you're fine. A parent might try, it looks like you're feeling really disappointed because your friend couldn't come over. Is that right? Tell me about that.
Hmm.
Just giving them the language helps them understand and eventually manage the emotion.
That's so important, giving them that vocabulary. Okay, what's the second one?
Second, talk about your own emotions with your child. This is about modeling. By showing how you identify and cope with your feelings, big ones, small ones, positive, negative, you teach them valuable strategies without lecturing. For example, you might say, phew, I'm feeling a little stressed right now because I have a lot to do before dinner. I think I'll just take 5 deep breaths and then I'll get back to it. And crucially, the source advises not blaming the child for your emotions. Your feelings are yours. It's about modeling healthy coping, not shifting blame.
Right. That showing of vulnerability and openness from both teachers and parents sounds like an incredibly powerful teaching tool. It normalizes emotions for young people, makes it okay to feel things.
It absolutely does. Okay, third point. Recognize the mood or feeling inside the home. Talk about it. Discuss how different situations, events, even just the time of day can impact the emotional atmosphere. You might notice aloud, it feels a bit tense in the house this morning because everyone's rushing around. What do you think we could maybe do tomorrow to make our morning feel a bit calmer?
You tell it.
This helps children understand how environments affect emotions.
That's a great one. And the fourth.
And fourth, similarly, recognize the mood or feeling when you go places. Help children observe and understand the emotional shifts in different environments. A busy shopping mall versus a quiet library or park. Asking something like, how does it feel different to be here in the quiet park compared to when we were in that loud supermarket earlier? Helps them develop that environmental and social awareness.
These are such tangible, useful strategies. Easy to see how they build those EI muscles over time. And beyond these individual efforts in the home or classroom, are there broader, maybe more systemic approaches being taken?
Yes, absolutely. There's a big push for this. The Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, known as CASEL, is very active. They're working hard to make evidence-based social and emotional learning, or SEL, an integral part of education, right from preschool through high school. KAI Global School also details how effective SEL programs work. They involve integrating EI instruction into the actual curriculum. providing ongoing teacher training, which is vital, fostering a positive and inclusive school environment that includes things like anti-bullying policies, peer mentoring, and really involving the wider community, parents included.
And what kind of results are these more structured SEL programs showing? Are they making a difference?
Yeah, the results are pretty impressive. They show significant benefits: improved academic performance, enhanced social emotional skills across the board, a measurable reduction in negative behaviors like bullying and aggression, and increased overall emotional well-being for students. In fact, Melissa Schlinger from KSEL highlights an astounding 11-to-1 return on investment for quality SEL programming.
11 to 1. Wow. That's not just a social benefit. That's a clear, quantifiable economic argument, too. It really makes the case for investing seriously in these programs. So if we nurture emotional intelligence in these foundational years through parents, teachers, SEL programs, what kind of lasting impact are we setting students up for as they step out into the world, facing complex challenges, diverse career paths?
The benefits really do extend far beyond the school gates into professional and personal life. It's foundational. One source, citing a Forbes article, noted that an astonishing 85% of financial accomplishment is attributed to human engineering, which means traits like character, behavior, communication, leadership, with only about 15% due to practical knowledge or technical skills alone.
85% tied to human engineering. That dramatically redefines what it means to be smart or successful in the professional world, doesn't it? It's almost like emotional intelligence is the foundational operating system for adaptability and success in this rapidly changing world we're in, not just an optional software upgrade.
Precisely. That's a great
Yeah.
analogy. And if you look at what employers are actively seeking right now,
Mm.
the World Economic Forum lists skills like resilience, flexibility, agility, leadership, social influence, creative thinking, motivation, self-awareness as top priorities. These are all deeply rooted in and amplified by emotional intelligence.
Mm.
It's the ability to navigate ambiguity, to collaborate effectively, to lead and inspire other skills that, frankly, technology just can't replicate.
And it connects directly to something else we all value highly, critical thinking. Can you elaborate on that link? How does being more emotionally intelligent actually enhance our ability to think critically?
Yeah, it's a really important connection, and maybe not always an obvious one. A study focusing on prospective teachers found a significant positive correlation between their emotional intelligence and their critical thinking abilities. Here's why it likely works. EI helps individuals be aware of and manage their emotions, right? Which in turn allows them to think more clearly, to understand the logical connections between ideas better, to solve problems more systematically. For instance, if you're feeling really frustrated by a complex problem, high EI allows you to recognize that frustration, regulate it,
Yeah.
and prevent it from clouding your judgment or making you jump to conclusions. It enables you to approach the problem more objectively.
Ah, okay. So it means you can gather and evaluate information more confidently and, crucially, without undue bias from your own emotional state, because you understand your own emotional landscape and how it might be influencing your perception. That makes perfect sense. Emotions can be powerful filters if we're not aware of them.
Exactly right. It's about having the self-perception, the strong interpersonal skills, and the sound decision-making processes. To truly engage in robust critical thinking, to see situations from multiple angles without letting your own emotional static distort the picture.
Wow. This deep dive has really truly demonstrated that emotional intelligence isn't just some soft skill or a secondary concern anymore. It feels like a fundamental necessity. It's the engine that drives academic success, fuels healthy relationships, protects our mental well-being, and prepares us to be adaptable, critically thinking individuals ready for an unpredictable future.
Indeed. And the hopeful part is it's a trainable, learnable skill set. When it's prioritized by parents, by educators, by institutions, it can profoundly transform individual lives and, by extension, our communities. As Timothy Shriver, co-founder of KSEL, put it so insightfully, emotion drives attention and attention drives learning. It all starts there. So
as you reflect on all this, maybe consider, how might a deeper understanding and a more intentional cultivation of emotional intelligence transform things for you? Not just your own learning journey or interactions, but maybe also the learning environments you're part of or the young people you influence in your own life. Something to think about.